Salutations, listener, and welcome to another edition of the Coco and Daltz podcast. We're real people doing real reviews. Now, Coco, what are we doing? It's a Friday as we record this. What are we talking about today for a change?
Well, not Coco. We are talking about...
I'm not Coco.
And I'm not Daltz. We're talking about The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 7, Chapter 15, The Believer. So in this episode...
Is this about the monkeys?
It is not. I knew you were going to make that joke.
Not daytime believer? What is it? Daydream
I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her if I tried.
Right.
Daydream Believer is the Everly Brothers, is it?
All right.
I don't know.
Now that I've sidetracked this podcast.
My dad would know. Anyways, so this episode is a continuation of the previous episode in which Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, got kidnapped by Moff Gideon. Mando and friends are on a quest to retrieve Baby Yoda. They have to break Bill Burr, who was... Of course. They have to break him out of prison camp. He was an Imperial sharpshooter, and now he's an outlaw. And apparently he's the only person who can help Mando find Baby Yoda in the vast galaxy. So Bill Burr and Mando dress up like stormtroopers. Basically, they have to go to this mining planet to be able to find the coordinates of Moff Gideon's Imperial cruiser. It's kind of jacked. Don't ask questions. So they dress up like stormtroopers. They crash the base on the mining colony. They're able to get the coordinates, but then Bill Burr just can't help himself. He shoots an Imperial guy who was like an army commander.
Who inexplicably had a southern accent.
Right, totally. And so then they have to bust their way out of the base. Boba Fett comes and gets them. Cara Dune and whatever the name of Ming-Na Wen's character are, they are still with all the guys. And then at the end, they release Bill Burr. They don't take him back to the prison camp. They are just like, oh, he must have died in the explosion at the base on the mining colony. So the very end of the episode is Mando sending a hologram threat to Moff Gideon saying, I will get Baby Yoda back. You will feel my wrath. The end.
So now you don't have to watch the episode, listener, because Coco just laid out the entire story for you.
It was kind of a jacked storyline.
Oh, really? I liked it.
I liked it, but yeah, I mean, the storyline is definitely...
I was kind of hoping, so it was good to see some levity in
definitely.
This. So Bill Burr, obviously, for those who don't know, is a comedian, a stand-up comedian. He was on the Dave Chappelle show at one time, among other credits. And he's a funny guy. And so when the mug shot appeared in the previous episode of We Gotta Go Get This Guy, I was like, is that Bill Burr? And sure enough, it's bald Bill Burr.
He did legit say that, viewer, listener. I can attest.
Right. And so they go to get Bill Burr, and Bill Burr is what Mando needs at this point because he was funny and he was making fun of stuff that should have been made fun of. And he also, when it was time to, when there was a moment of tension when Mando was at the ATM trying to make the withdrawal of the information, and Bill Burr came over and they tried to escape, and Bill Burr said, hey, let's go. We got to go and do those TPS reports.
Which was awesome.
Which was a great reference to Office Space, of course. And so I was happy to see a little bit of levity in this because this series definitely needs some of that.
Definitely.
And the action overall was pretty good. I thought it was a little bit different from the action of the previous episodes, which is good. You know, the danger with this kind of series is repeating the same sort of battles over and over again. And this was a little bit different. What did you think, Coco? What did you think overall of the episode?
So overall, I definitely liked it. It was a convoluted storyline for sure. And in terms of plot, not a lot actually happened. It feels like episodes 4, 5, and 6 were just packed with action and plot. Yeah. And this had a lot of action, but not a lot of plot. But it still felt like it advanced the overall storyline way more than episodes 1 and 2, and to a lesser extent, episode 3 did. It did have a lot of funny moments. Like the TPS reports got a huge laugh. That was hilarious. Yeah, I actually enjoyed it, even though my summary didn't really make me seem like I did, I would still probably give it like about an A, because it was a good episode.
So what didn't you like about the plot? What made it convoluted for you?
Well, like I was trying to describe it, it's like, oh, somehow this is the only guy who can help us get these coordinates, and we have to go to this mining colony because there's a computer terminal that we can plug into to make the information withdrawal. And
they clearly don't have Wi-Fi in this universe. It's like they couldn't just hover above it and try to tap into it that way.
Like, dude, we do that with our neighbors all the time, trying to get on their Wi-Fi networks, and you can't do that in space. Like, come on.
Yeah, they're shooting lasers from miles away, and they get the Death Star, and yet you can't hack into the computer. You got to actually go up to it and put in your key fob.
And Mando is able to send a hologram to Moff Gideon somewhere in the galaxy, but we still have to put like our USB like stick into the computer terminal. So
you're better than this, Mando. You really are.
So I mean, it was really convoluted, but at the same time, it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
And it did, like I said, feel as though it furthered the plot more than episodes 1 and 2 did. So I liked it. I'd still give it like an A to A-. It was I still feel like we're trending in the right direction. This wasn't like a record scratch. Like, what the hell was this? We were going in such a good direction, and now we've gone back a few steps. Like, I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. I think I liked it more than you did, but I believe what you believe in that it didn't really move the ball a lot. It was almost the same kind of, looking back on the earlier episodes, it's almost the same kind of, if you just do this one thing for me, I'll help you out. And it was almost exactly that same thing, except I really liked this version.
Yeah,
it seemed to move things ahead.
Definitely.
I like seeing the different stormtrooper guys with different helmets and everything like that, and different costumes. And there's a twist there where the stormtroopers actually help out our heroes for a change, and there's another twist at the end that I won't get into. But there were some things there that I really liked that the earlier episodes just didn't have. The earlier episodes just, again, I don't want to keep harping on the earlier episodes, but they just felt like hollow shells of a storyline. Whereas we're now into this and we got some depth. And I'd like to see Bill Burr return. I thought he was pretty good.
I was surprised that they let him go.
Me too.
On the one hand, it would be obvious if like now he joins our ragtag team of people trying to get Grogu back. But on the other hand, it makes sense that they released him, but I definitely hope he returns. Like, who knows, maybe he'll return in one of the 10 Star Wars series that Disney just announced to its investors yesterday, which, spoiler alert, we will be watching all of. Poor adults.
So how many episodes do we have left of The Mandalorian?
We have one left in this season.
There's one more left.
Yeah,
in this
one
season.
after this week.
Okay, so here's a prediction for you. I don't have any inside scoop on this, but what's going to happen is going to come down to a very tense moment, and everybody's backs are going to be against the wall. It's going to be Mandalorian and Gina Carano and Carl Weathers, and they're going to have Baby Yoda, and there's like, what do we do? What do we do? Oh no, and all the stormtroopers are closing in, and Moff Gideon is standing there ominously, and there's only going to be one thing that's going to happen, and a sharpshooter is going to shoot something, and it's going to explode, and it's going to expedite their escape, and that sharpshooter will be Bill Burr.
That would be awesome.
So he's going to use. Here, you're hearing it here first, listener.
Dalt's bold prediction.
Bill Burr is going to return in the last episode, and he's going to save the day. And I have no insight into this. It's not like I was talking to Jon Favreau yesterday about it. This is what I'm predicting.
You can, call us Jon Favreau, and we will totally help you out with stories. That would be awesome.
We have ideas, as you might know, listener, and we can spread those ideas to the Star Wars universe.
I do hope that you're correct, though, because this was the first episode of the entire series without a Baby Yoda sighting, and I'm sad about that. However, this episode did not need Baby Yoda,
right?
But I love Baby Yoda, so I
was
refuse to call him Grogu.
I was going to ask you about that because there was no cooing and cueing and awing and stuff like that, and him eating fish eggs and committing fishicide or whatever that would be.
Right. Fish genocide. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would give this, I think this is a step down from the last 2 episodes, but not much. So I would, whatever gradient that is in terms of what I was rating them before, I'd say it's just a little bit step down, but not really much. And we're in the home stretch, and the fact that we've got one more left, I'm actually surprised at it. I thought we had a couple more left. So the fact that the next one is going to be the last one and is going to resolve a lot of things, I think we're in a good position right now. I think the momentum is going in the right direction.
As opposed to the beginning of the season when after the first 2 episodes, we were like, Jesus, we got 6 more of this. Oh my God. And now we're like, no, why can't this be a 10-episode season?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, what? Wait a minute. I need more Bill Burr. I need more Gina Carano and Carl Weathers. Like, what, are you shutting it down already? So this is the way it should be. This is the way, you should leave everybody wanting more. And I think that's where we are right now. So we'll see. And place your bets now on the Bill Burr prop of returning to episode 10 or the next episode 8, I guess it is.
That would be, we definitely need more. I mean, you don't cast somebody like Bill Burr without intending to use him later. And I know I said that after episode 1 with Timothy Oliphant, who played Cobb Vanth. I was like, he's totally going to put in an appearance later because he's not just one and done, somebody with a name like that. And I will say we did, when we reviewed the prequel series and to a lesser extent the sequel series, especially with the prequels, Dalt's like kind of really hammered Lucasfilm about casting Samuel L. Jackson and casting all these big names, and then Benicio del Toro came in the sequels, and Daltz was just like, oh, this is just stunt casting, like all these big name Hollywood people just want to be a part of this. And they do have that in The Mandalorian, obviously, with Bill Burr and Ming-Na Wen and Timothy Oliphant, but it doesn't feel like stunt casting. It feels natural. It feels like this person is a good fit to this role. I mean, Cobb Vanth I wasn't crazy about, so Timothy Oliphant, whatever, but it's not like they brought in Tom Cruise for that role, Well,
stunt casting in this situation to me would be like, the equivalent would be like Justin Bieber or somebody like that. You know what I mean? Like somebody, you're just dropping somebody in with a huge name for the sake of their name. And that's what I think happened with Samuel L. Jackson. I think he's a fantastic actor. I think he did a great part in that role, but there was no need for the big actors. People were already going to watch that series without the big actors coming in. And they didn't need that. And everybody was jumping on the bandwagon. We got to make it Hollywood. So that's kind of what I was thinking about this. And you're right. I like that. I don't see any of these big names. Like Bill Burr to me he's a big enough name to me, but I don't think he's going to be like, oh, Bill Burr's in the new Mandalorian. Let's go and watch that.
Right. He's not Tom Cruise. He doesn't have 100% name recognition across all sectors of society.
He's not going to draw people in purely because of his name. I mean, there will be that faction, but it won't be like, it won't be millions of people that are going to be like all of a sudden drawn in, which is what I think happened with that Star Wars series with Samuel L. Jackson and all the other high acting guys. So yes, another successful episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it wasn't as plot advancing as the past 3 episodes, but it did still advance the plot. I did still enjoy it. I'd give it an A, maybe an A-. Like I still enjoyed it, even though I'm apparently making people think that I didn't, but I liked it.
So that's it for this edition of the podcast. Thank you, listener, for joining us. We're going to keep watching The Mandalorian. We got one more to go.
One more.
And we'll also probably watch some other stuff in the middle, too. So please like us, share us, follow us, do all those nice things. Drop by the podcast homepage, cocoanddolls.com, and contribute many, many dollars to supporting the podcast. And we appreciate all the donations you've made so far.
So until next time, I'm not Daltz.
And I'm not Coco.